Welcome, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us today for the 26th presentation in our Launch and Learn webinar series on current and diverse topics. Today, we're bringing to you design thinking for entrepreneurs with a colleague of ours that have been presenting in a few occasions through this venue, Vicente Pimienta, a good collaborator. FIU Continuing Education has partnered with Growth with Google to host a series of free virtual workshops to enhance the digital skills of the national and international community. As you know, we have been receiving hits from Ireland, from Africa, from Asia, from all over the world, including our friends from Latin America. The Growth with Google partner program provides free training, tools, and resources to help you grow with your skills, career, or business. My name is Jorge Sumaeta, and I am the Senior Director of Academic Planning and Accountability, Continuing Education and Dual Enrollment at FIU. Before starting, I would like to take care of some housekeeping items. The webinar is being recorded, so please, afterwards, you can reach out to us and we can facilitate share that link. You can come to our website, Continuing Education at FIU, and you will see that link available to you. Also, please keep in mind that all the microphones are muted in order to facilitate the dynamics of this presentation. The chat tool is available and you can use it. However, you encourage you to use the Q&A tool located at the bottom of the screen throughout the presentation to ask questions to the presenters. Once the webinars have ended, a message will appear on your screen thanking you for participating in this webinar, but also asking you to complete a short survey. Completed this information they provide will be very helpful to us to kind of look at what other presentations topics we can review, and also we will be able to share with you some upcoming events. In today's webinar, participants will learn how to create and collaborate in an environment where anyone is responsible for the design and the design challenges and sprints that can be incorporated into a workplace or startup. That's what's going to be discussed. And also they will focus on unlocking the creativity and innovative thinking that you have on your own. I mean, all this creativity you can use and put it into design thinking. I want to welcome again Vicente Pimienta, Miami Growth with Google Digital Coach. He has been with us more than a few occasions, and he's all over through the Southeast region in the US, making presentations about the products that Google provides in order for you to maximize your potential as a small business owner, student that is developing and thinking about growing in the future professionally. As Miami Growth with Google Digital Coach, he plays an important role in the Google programs designed to bridge the digital divide of minorities and underrepresented communities. This is very important, I mean, for FIU and for Google to try to help the small business owners, primarily from the underrepresented communities, as I stated before. Vicente is also a CEO at Digital Salts, where he helped business owners transition from traditional commerce by providing them with internet services, digital marketing, multimedia products, consulting, and workshops. Vicente is also the founder of VicentePimienta.com Inc., co-founder of DigiSalts, and he is the author of Online Marketing Essentials, The Missing Links. Vicente has collaborated with CNN en español, Univision, Caso Cerrado, Telemundo, Mega TV, America TV, NTN24, Voz de America, and many, many more. Without any further ado, let me welcome our presenters, today's presenters, Mr. Vicente Pimienta. Vicente?
Good morning, Jorge. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. Thank you for being here. I first have to thank Jorge, Mili, and all their staff that has made this possible. It's so fun to work with FIU and all of you. And of course, we have to say thank you to FIU for this fantastic opportunity, but more importantly, it's thank you because you're taking the time to come here and learn valuable information. And I personally believe that information is power and learning is your superpower. So I'm going to ask you to turn on that superpower that God gives us and learn, get this information and apply it. I'm very excited with the webinar today. You still have time to invite some friends to see this information. This will transform the way you think about approaching a problem and finding solutions, not only in your business, in your career, in your personal life, and in some challenges. You can learn the process to find solutions to complex problems. You can communicate with me through the chat. We're going to have some backup, some support in the chat. Sally Espino is going to be getting your questions and referring them to me so I can answer your questions. So we're going to use the chat for that. And I want to thank Sally for volunteering for the for doing this. So let's start with me. My name is Vicente Pimienta. And I don't know where you were in 1996, but I was doing my first .com company. Some people told me I was crazy. Other people made fun of me for betting on the internet all my career. And some others even told me, get a real job. So anyways, I was very early in the game, and I have developed all my skills and experience around marketing in internet because I barely used the like newspapers and TV and radio because they were expensive when I was younger. So I've done everything online pretty much. And you will see how our experiences, the online experience with this new information that I'm going to share with you, it's going to change your life. So 4 years ago, I was blessed enough to be approached by Google and started being a Google Digital Coach. Now we have rebranded it to Grow with Google Digital Coach. We're now came from a pilot program to a full-blown program called Grow with Google. And we have a ton of information, workshops that we're going to share with you. So Grow with Google is an initiative that brings the best of Google's training and tools to help people grow your skills, careers, and your businesses, right? So startups can get strategies and skills to build thriving teams and businesses. So before we get started, I would like everybody to log into their Google accounts if you're in your computer, if you have not already done so. We will be using Google Docs and Google Slides to work on a couple of activities today. If you don't have a Google account, please raise your hand and someone will, well, this would be for, we can't help you now, but you can send us some questions and Sally probably will help you get on board on your Google account. So you probably already have one, but if not, let's do it. This is my information. Please take a snapshot here or a picture or a screenshot, I should say. This is where you can reach me, and my official position is Miami's Grow with Google Digital Coach. The program has only 20 Google Digital Coaches in the planet. So there's one per market. I'm the one from Miami, and we have like in Houston, we have in Austin, we have in Los Angeles, we have in San Francisco, in Detroit, New York, Atlanta, DC, we have 20 of them. So I am blessed to be here and having this opportunity to share this content that I had to learn, just like you are learning today. I had to learn this. So I'm a student as well, and I had to process this information before I can share it with you. And it has transformed the way I approach the problems. And I hope this is what's going to happen with you today. So first of all, before we start, I want to do something because this information might change the way from now on how you approach your problem. and we're going to use the hashtags, and this will unite us online from now on. All right. So you're going to be part of the Google Digital Coaches hashtag. So I want you to put your selfie, your story in Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. All right. So that will connect us from now on. So let's start with opening your account. You can do, for example, go to your laptop and open a new browser window, type google.com and sign in, as you can see here to your right. Okay, apparently it froze. So I'm gonna repeat the selfie part. Let's take a selfie. Thank you, Sally, for telling me. I'm gonna take a selfie again, and we're gonna use the hashtag. So you're gonna be all in the selfie here. All right, let's go. All right, so we're gonna use the hashtag Grow with Google Digital Coaches on Instagram, and we will be connected. We can follow each other, and Google might retweet your tweet or share your post or like your Instagram post or story. So back to where we are. So let's open this account. Let's sign in. Click into the Google Apps icon. Here you will see all the Google applications that come with your account. They're all free. Notice that the most recent ones are going to appear first. Click on more to expand the list and see all of the options that you have there, right? You can also access Google Drive, where all your projects are stored. Let's take a quick look look at Google Drive first, because that's the one we're interested in you to open right now and put all your notes. Google Drive allows you to store, access, and share files like documents, slideshows, forms, and pictures or photos in one place. Instead of being stored on one computer, your Google Drive stores files on the cloud, so you can access it at any time from any device. So the answer is a safe place on the internet where you can save important information. After you save something on the Google Drive, you can easily access it from any computer, smartphone, or tablet with internet access. Files stored on the Google Drive won't get lost, even if your computer crashes. And the projects you create with Google applications are automatically stored in your Google Drive. You do
Vicente,
yes.
My apologies for interrupting. A few of our participants are asking very respectfully if we can increase a little bit.
If I can increase what?
Your volume. If you can talk a little louder.
Oh, okay. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
See any reactions? Well, Jorge, can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you. We hear you.
Better?
We hear you.
Better?
Better.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry. Thank you.
Okay, I'm a lot closer. If you want to get even closer. Okay, so anything you save on the drive, remember, it's there. So you won't save it. The beauty about the Google Drive and using the drive eliminates, remember back when you had to send me the document, wait until I edit it and send it back. Sometimes it bounced, sometimes it was too big, the attachment, so it won't go through. So all of these issues and you end those issues by storing a document on the Google Drive. And we have other webinars that you can log into and participate and learn how to use all the parts, all the applications in the Google Drive. So pretty much this is what your Google Drive looks like. If you never created anything in a Google app before, it will be empty, of course. It's like a hard drive, it's empty. You haven't created any documents. After you start creating projects in Google applications, they will be stored here in your drive, right there. So as I talk about features of Google's digital applications, feel free to, to follow along on your laptop. I'll be moving fairly quickly, so you don't worry if you can't keep pace. You'll have more time later to continue to learn about the Google Drive. So from the Google Drive, if you're already logged in, please click New Document and Blank Document, as you can see here in this slide. That in today's workshop, we're going to focus on three primarily objectives that you can take notes in this new document that you have created in the cloud, in the drive. So learn the principles of design thinking process is our agenda today, and how to apply the process to create innovative solutions to identify problems. I apologize, English is my second language. I try to do my best. Consider building out these solutions as personal and or collaborative side projects throughout the year. To kick off things, has anybody heard of design thinking process? Can you type on the chat one if you have heard about design thinking process, and number two if you have never heard about the design thinking process. Yes, Roxana says yes, Diego says yes, Julian says yes, Jacqueline says no. I didn't know about it until recently, so it's fantastic. I heard the name, but I didn't know the details. So you will be surprised how cool is this. So design thinking, what is design thinking? It's a methodology used by designers to solve complex problems. This approach has been used to brainstorm solutions for society issues like getting kids to eat healthy in school lunch, as well as help well-established companies redefine their place in the fast-changing industry. So now, what is technologically feasible and economically feasible can change depending on your context, of course. What you're able to create or as a student over 4 years will likely differ from what you might be able to create if you had access to the amount of data and or computing power that many larger tech companies like Google have. Even so, the important thing to keep in mind is that using this design thinking process will provide you with a framework that will be used even when you don't have a ton of resources or money available for you. So I'll show you a few examples of that later in this workshop. To start, let's see what this methodology is all about. The design thinking process was created by the Stanford University and a company in conjunction with this company called IDEO, not like idea, but with an O, IDEO. So, and it's being successfully used to create small and big projects. The methodology includes 5 phases. And this is where you want to type down all these 5 steps on your document. Observe, engage, and immerse is the first part. This is critical to understand the consumer and come up with the right solution. Observe, engage, and immerse. The second one is express the problem in the form of POVs, point of views. So we're gonna express the problem in the form of a point of view, and it's the point of view of the client, not the business owner, because that's to finding a solution. The fourth one is the prototype. Getting ideas out of your head and out of the paper, you have to write everything down, and into the real world. And the fifth is the test, where you actually, interaction of the prototypes, you test, you learn, and you iterate. So this process is an evolving one, and it's so fun to do. Sorry. The first step we saw in the process was establishing empathy. So empathy is the ability to understand and share the feeling of another person. If you want to focus on the user, our goal as we begin the design thinking process should be to first connect to someone's story, someone's insight or emotions. We must put ourselves in their shoes, so to speak, right? What do we mean with the user? Well, the user And design thinking would be the person or population for which you are hoping to build a solution. Be as specific as possible for the user, because if you sell water, bottled water, and I ask you who's your user, every human being is my user. Whoop, whoop, not necessarily, right? Because not everybody uses bottled water, and it has design uses, particular uses that you need bottled water and you don't have any other options. So your user has to be very, very focused. For example, if your client is parents, you have to be very clear if it's a parent of a toddler or it's a parent of a teenager, because it's different, completely different. So that's what, when we call user, we're going to have to dig in a little bit more to have success. So really put yourself in the shoes of your selected population or user and empathize with their day-to-day to brainstorm all of the potential obstacles they may come across. Consider starting the process until the evening, in the morning, and walk through the day to identify the challenges. What does the user do during the day until they purchase and they get or your service or your product? So it's very important to visualize what they are doing. Great. So next, we want to operationalize the problem. Do it, operations-wise. I can't pronounce that word. I'm sorry, I apologize. What the problem statement is, right? Give your own example, or this one. Instead of Sam needs to learn about nutrition to get a better eating experience during lunch, that would be one way of putting it. So try instead, Sam is a busy manager who needs a way to integrate healthy eating habits into his daily life because he doesn't want to feel like he's on a diet. You see the difference? It's the same user. Let's read it again. Sam needs to, this is the first one. Sam needs to learn about nutrition to get a better eating experience during lunch. Instead, you're going to read team gather great ideas to really establish features, functions, and any other elements that will allow you to really solve the problem for this user. So this is, here it is. This is completely filled. Look, you have to take a picture of this or a screenshot and then write your own. The user is Sam. The characteristics is he's a busy manager. Who needs, now the user need a way to integrate healthy eating habits. And because he doesn't want to feel like he's on a diet, it's the insight that you need from the user. That's the insight. So you can see here the user name, their characteristics, their need, and their insight. And their insight, it's when you put yourself in their shoes. So let's try this. Try synthesizing several of the challenges you've identified to come up with one grand problem statement to accomplish several of the ones you have identified. Take a picture of this one. If this were a in-person workshop, I would give you 3, 4, 5 minutes to do this, but I want to move forward because there's a lot of information, but take a picture of this and do this later so we can move forward. Awesome. So now that we've empathized with our chosen user, analyzed and synthesized those observations to the brainstorming during this time. And unrestricted brainstorming takes time. You need to leave let's leave space for your creative uses on your brain to come up with ideas. Maybe you sleep over several nights over the idea. You go to sleep and you think about the problem in the morning, probably you will get a solution, and do that several times. Don't come up with an immediate solution, because that is, you're not giving space for the creative part in you to have the space and time to come up with solutions. So here's a popular ideation activity used a lot in Google Design Sprints. It's called Crazy Eights. Using a Google Documents or create a 2x4 table. In each section of the table, you're going to put an idea, a different idea on how to solve your user problem. Don't worry about the feasibility right now. Don't worry about it, because sometimes you come on an idea, no, I don't have the problem, so I'm going to ditch the idea. No, I don't have the money, I should say, and I'm going to ditch the idea. Don't worry about the feasibility in this stage. Just put whatever comes up to your mind, and then we will find a way to solve the problem in a very creative way. So this is called the blue sky thinking. Is encouraged. So it's el cielo azul. El cielo es el límite in Spanish. So this is a Crazy Eight. So again, don't worry about the feasibility of these solutions quite yet. It's more important that you write down everything that comes to mind before narrowing in one or a few of the next stages. Right on. Now, how do we know if these solutions would work? We prototype. Produce inexpensive, scaled down versions of the solution created in the previous stage. As you build prototypes one by one, they will be accepted, improved, and re-examined, or probably rejected based on the user's experience. This is yet an experimental stage. So how do you know when you're done? Well, you'll have a better idea of the constraints inherent within the product features, the problem in the solution you're currently prototyping, and then we'll have more information based on the perspective of how real users behave with your solutions, right? You have to go through this experimental part so we can learn about the product. So now we talk about MVPs. Minimum viable product. The idea is that the product, the app, the website, or whatever you decide to build is developed with sufficient features to satisfy early adopters. The final and complete set of features is only designed and developed after considering feedback from the first users and tests that you have created. You want to make sure that what you create is functional, even at its
Hello?
or two. With that accent, yes.
Vicente, I don't know why you keep coming and going, and for the sound sometimes, and then also it keeps freezing up. So
It's probably my internet connection.
yeah, we're looking on our side. It seems like everything is fine on this side. We were just, and my apologies to all the participants. And we are looking at this. We continue the presentation, but sometimes I guess maybe we have to revisit some of the statements or the slides that you have covered. Yes, for sure, it's the internet.
Yeah, I apologize. There's a Comcast truck in the neighborhood, so I think that has to do a little bit. I have another connection, but it's slower than the one I'm using now.
My apologies. I keep interjecting when we have this.
No, I apologize. I really apologize. So if there's something important that you don't see, please put it on the chat.
Okay.
No, yes, will this be saved? Is this recorded, right?
Yes, it's being recorded.
You know what I'm going to do, if you don't mind? I think I should put my camera off to use less bandwidth.
Okay.
And I'll just leave the presentation. So I apologize again. Let's see. Okay, let's see if this works better.
Okay, let's try.
Okay. So back to the, thank you, Jorge. Thank you. And if you have to interrupt me again, go ahead. Okay, the minimum viable product. As you can see, there's nothing you can do with with a wheel or a tire. So you want it to take you places. So look at this. Here's a better idea of what integrating with minimal viable products looks like. We see that even with just a simple skateboard, you're able to achieve your goal of taking you places. The fancier transition and additions to the ultimately make it a full-flagged and swanky car. But look at the process. You start with a minimal viable product to take you from point A to point B, and you see the evolution. So, all right, so this is the final stage of design thinking. For the sake of today's experiment, we're not going to get to experiment with this phase. But if you were to implement the design thinking process in real life, you would definitely want to test out your solution, evaluate it, and depending on how it goes, you may or may not have to go back and repeat different phases to get the final product. So testing is an interactive phase. What does that mean? It means that you continue to go back to make changes, tweak features, and in some cases, you may even decide to scrap the solution for a different one if you identified a different prototype that fits your need. So does anyone want to share their group ideas on to the rest of us? How would you implement this? How would you use the design thinking for entrepreneur in your business? Can you share a little bit in the chat so we can learn a little bit about what would you do? Would you redo your website, your approach? Would you redo your services? I'm going to give you one quick example of actually a friend of mine that is also a client, that he used the design thinking for entrepreneur very lightly, but he solved a problem. He sells wholesale products, like products that a supermarket will buy, all of those, except for food, like, you know, detergents, brooms, all things like for a dollar store, right? So he sells to the Caribbean. He's here in Miami. So there was a lack of trust. I mean, if you're in the Caribbean and you're gonna buy a big amount of merchandise, it's a lot of money, and you're gonna send the money, you don't trust sending the money. So what he did, the design thinking and entrepreneur in his way, he took the phone and video makes the buyer trust the seller. He's seeing the person through the camera. So that increased the level of trust between the client and the business owner, and that helped him increase its sales in the Caribbean. So you see how can you, oh, no voice?
Yes, yes, Vicente, can you repeat the last minute and a half, 2 minutes?
Okay, did you listen about my
Your
wholesaler
when
that
you
sells to the?
Yeah, when you were introducing how your friend, which also is a client, used the design thinking process.
Okay, I apologize. What he did to increase the trust between the seller and the buyer, since the buyer is in the Caribbean and he's probably going to send $10,000, $20,000, he needs trust. So he's using the WhatsApp app, turning the video camera on and showing the customer the warehouse full of merchandise. And he actually shows the actual merchandise that he's buying by the pallets to the client. And that helps increased the trust between a stranger in the Caribbean and a business here in Miami. So that increased the trust and the sales between customers in the Caribbean and in Miami. So that's how design thinking for entrepreneur can help in a simple way. Just integrating one piece of technology, which by the way, it's free. WhatsApp, it's free. And that helped them connect with the client on a face-to-face, on a one-on-one, and increase the trust. And remember, every business, if you don't trust the business, there's no business. Did you hear that? Okay, mira. Okay, I have to apologize. There's a gardener closed now. So dice aquí Maria Melo. Oh, Maria, thank you, Maria Melo. She's been with our program all from the beginning. So she says, I use the design thinking to apply the feedback from my customers on my website.
Please accept our apologies for whatever reason. We don't understand. We're checking, but we are not finding the situation. I mean,
Yeah.
you were gone for a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to cut it off. I apologize. I apologize. Well, pretty much we're done. I mean, in terms of the information, we're done. So, is there any, can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you. We hear you clear now. It just happens, and it's very, very unusual because this is the first time that we have encountered this many challenges when it was the voice and sometimes, and then also the video.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much, there's a repair in my neighborhood, Comcast. So it has to do with that. The speed is lower than normal. So there's a problem. I apologize. So one of the information was the main, I think most of the information went through.
Yes, I think, I mean, the most important take home message that you're delivering, Vicente, is that process specifically, no, from ideation all the way to the implementation of design thinking, no? Maybe you just can repeat to us those few steps, like in a summary, and then we open it to Q&A.
Okay, so pretty much the 5 steps, the process is very simple. And I'm going to share this slide with you. I apologize, there are people leaving because of the technical issues. I apologize for that. So let's see. So these are the 5 steps that you need to redo, and it's very important that we understand each one of them.
See, and the voice has left us again. I don't know if everybody can hear me, or it's just you, Vicente. But again, we lost your voice. It is an amazing presentation, and I see how Google have put it together in a way that we can, identify this process to help us. But also, you have different other tools, and from us that you have come to our forum and other forums to sharing different other tools. But this will be a key element with anybody, developing a plan of action, no?
Absolutely. This will not only work for your business, but it will work in your life. For example, let's say you're in a boat and you have a problem, and now you have to overcome an obstacle, and you're in the ocean or on a beach. Now you have to start thinking, how can I use my resources around me to overcome this problem? So the design thinking process is very healthy. And since I learned this in details, thanks to this presentation, I have applied it into my own business. And we have redone our own websites, our own purpose in the industry as well. So, and to give you an example, in my personal company, from having 65 products and services, we narrow it down to 3 or 4 now, based on what we learned from this design thinking for entrepreneurs. So it's profound. It's less is more, and it will help you and your business, tweak the process and understand your client.
And this knowledge is applicable to either the very anybody that is starting a new business, a startup, or somebody that's already in business for several years and want to re-strategize or reposition their business. I believe this knowledge is truly valuable for any of them.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's some comments in the
I don't know if anybody can hear me, but follow-up question to Vicente was going to be, does
of our
grow
guests
Google?
want to
Yes.
do this again, so we're gonna have
Yes.
to repeat this. No problem.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be valuable for the ones that are still with us, and I appreciate it greatly. And we did it successfully in Spanish, and it would be awesome to redo this in English. But I was gonna ask you, Vicente, to what extent growth with Google can support, the small business or the startup or the business that have been already in years in operations. To what extent Grow with Google can support it?
Well, Grow with Google as a platform has a lot of trainings available and certifications and self-help videos. So I recommend you go to Grow with Google and register. And there's this other app. I like the app. It's called Premiere on your phone. Premiere is 5-minute classes. So this is very good when you're social distancing in the bank and you can, in 5 minutes, you can take classes, support, learn. And of course, we also have on YouTube, we have a channel called Google On Air from Grow with Google. And I have personally recorded several trainings there. And there's other trainers, Google trainers as well. So there's tons of information there in English and Spanish for teachers, for small business owners, for growing your career, and for coders. You can learn how to code, get certificates, and then get a job with Google. So that's why it's called Grow with Google. The whole program is designed for that. And I'm blessed to be part of that and share this with the community.
Amazing. Let me give a shout out to one of our favorite professors at FIU, Dr. Rosanna Corradino. And I didn't know about this, but she's asking a specific question about her specific business that she has. She's asking, how can I use design thinking to increase clients for my travel services business?
Okay, to increase clients, you would have to learn what the process, you probably know what the process of your client is, the customer journey. You have to think like, if you're going to buy travel, how would you like to buy it? And try to find a differentiator and design your solution around it. Did it come through? No?
I heard half of the response, Vicente. I don't know if I think you froze for a little bit.
Yeah, what I said is, I apologize again. Try to put yourself in the shoes of your client and do the experience like if you were a client, and what would you like to be improved in this process? And that would be the differentiator that will lead you to mold your service around it. You have to find something different, your unique selling proposition, something different, right? So I don't have the solution because you would have to go through the methodology of the process completely, but that would be my approach. Try to find what's missing in that experience. What is missing? And that could be the difference.
Perfect. Another question reads, are there any limitations in design thinking as a problem-solving methodology? Is it foolproof?
I would say yes. I will share a few things that have been designed using design thinking for entrepreneur. And one of them is, remember back when we were younger, that we had to be at the right time in front of our TV to see the program that we wanted or the news. We had to change our calendars according to the TV network agenda. So that's when streaming video comes out. How about if we can record this, put it online, and people can watch the same program whenever they want? So you see, that was part of design thinking. That's when Netflix comes out and all of these. So another example, very good, is they realized that when moms
I don't know, apologies again. There's no sound in the connectivity. The only thing I can say that, I mean, it's amazing to me as we grow with, we grow as a society, let's say. Now, how do we embrace different paths for developing our businesses? And obviously in the last 10, 15 years, we see this support in also a catalyst as is technology, no? And then what kind of thinking process we embrace in order to align to benefit for these new technologies, and the technologies that are being provided by Google and by Growth with Google, which is design thinking as today. But you were telling us, Vicente, that you truly believe, and I'm really, really amazed at your answer, because, and I would like to follow up that, and you indicated that you truly believe that the design thinking is bulletproof.
It depends who uses it and your attitude. Because if you come with a wrong attitude, you're not going to find a solution. You have to be, like, in the right mindset. But look at this other story. They realized that the mother comes from the grocery with bags, her hands are full, and the kids are running around. And what she needs to open the door to get into the house. And they realized she uses the foot to hold the door in place while she comes in with the groceries and the kids and the dog and the cat, right? So they realized that. And with the design thinking, that is how now we have vehicles like a Cadillac or BMW or a Benz that you go on the trunk and you put your foot like this and it opens. You know that? That's where it came from. That is where it came from. They saw the mom using the foot to hold the door, so they put it in the car. So now when you come from the grocery to your car, now you just go like this with your foot and it opens and you boom. That's how good it is.
And as we embrace all the aspects of the fourth industrial revolution and all the integration of all these new technologies, not only into our working life, but also professional lives, but also our day-to-day lives, like you're talking about, I think this design thinking is very appropriate. I mean, and I had to tell you, in a way, you put it look at it from a perspective that you would say, wow, it's relatively simple, all the steps, but there is a lot of thinking that goes into to get really neat and clear in order for us to follow that design thinking. And and very good example in terms of, how, the automotive industry came out with this touch with the food in order to alleviate a specific circumstance that, parents, mothers, is super interesting. Go ahead.
The important thing to learn from this example is how they observed the mom, how they see the mom, how are they watching the mom. They immersed in the problem. Try to open a door without the foot when you're loaded with groceries.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
On that.
It comes from the first phase of observing, immersing, and seeing the customer. So it's very important, and that's why it needs some time. And that's why you have to go through the whole process. You have to go through the whole day of your customer, because the vehicle part, it's only part of your day. But how do you use the vehicle, and how can we design stuff in our vehicles to help you in your real life? So it's so amazing. And there's so many examples of design thinking for entrepreneur that we use today. It's amazing. It's amazing. Just like the computers. The computers, remember, it was coding. So then somebody came up with an icon that you click on a button and it executes the code. So that's design thinking for entrepreneur. The smartphone, what happens if we can just with a finger? So let's design it. It's that important.
So, and then also, I mean, the means what other processes, tasks we can use design thinking to alleviate, to attend the specific need of the market. And now, thank you very much, Vicente. I'm going to start thinking about, for my industry, in terms of higher ed, is how do we use design thinking in order to provide a better educational experience to our students for the non-credit and credit, endeavors. I just, once again, is going to start looking around and see how we can improve these experiences.
Absolutely. For example, let's say you want to do a product, a hair product for Black women. So with the design thinking, you can choose between maybe do a hair salon, a physical business, or maybe do a website that indexed all the products for Black females, or you can do your own hair product. So you see, with the design thinking for entrepreneur, you can discover several paths.
Amazing, super interesting. Like I was telling you, I'm going to start looking at my own processes and trying to see, for the ones that have been in the labor market for a few years, there have been different processes that we have embraced in order to develop new strategies, new approaches to be more effective, efficient, to create a new path for our clients, in our case, because we're in education, for our students. But I see that a lot of applicability, and I'm gonna not only use it, but I'm gonna encourage my associates to start using design thinking. Vicente, thank you very much. And with that, let me start the last segment of our webinar, which is thanking you as a presenter, and also Sandy Spino, who's in the back assisting you in delivering the full presentation. Also, I would like to thank our Mrs. Ponce, our Assistant Vice President for Academic Affairs at FIU, that without her support, this webinars would not be possible. And also, very important, most important is to thank the FIU Continuing Education team, Melissa Maldonado, Danai Barata, and Shereen Smith, who are key professionals behind the development and launching and implementation of these webinars. Also, I want to remind you not to forget to please complete the survey. We need a survey in order for us to provide more meaningful presentations like today's, and also keep you in touch with us, and for us to provide additional information of upcoming events. For example, on Thursday, March 11th, The topic will be "The Future is Now: How to Make Technology Advancements Work for You." I mean, let me repeat it because this is super interesting. The future is now: how to make technology advancement work for you. The presentation will be conducted by Professor Travis Cloy. Travis is an FIU futurist in resident. I mean, this is the first time that we have a futurist in resident, which is amazing. It's super interesting. I think you will benefit tremendously from his knowledge on the latest technologies that will be shaping the market, not just the labor market, but the global economy. And I think it will be very interesting to you. This webinar will be in English. And also, let me thank a few of the participants. Professor Rosana Corradino, Professor of Arts here at FIU, Commissioner Willie Gord. Thank you, Willie, for being with us. Looking forward to talking to you about other opportunities. Also, Commissioner Gord is board member at Camacol, Latin Chamber of Commerce in the US. Let me also thank Sherry Andre from the FIU OLI, our own OLI program here at FIU. And lastly, let me recognize Dr. Karen Bollard, from an instructor from the Youth Co-op initiative that we have with our workforce development associates here in Miami. With that said, let me allow you a minute for you to say goodbye to our audience, Vicente.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity. I apologize for the technical problems, but I want to thank everybody. I also want to say a shout out to Camacol. Camacol has helped the program grow with Google since the beginning. We've done several webinars. Among the first ones was Camacol. So I want to thank all the leadership there. And thank FIU. Thank you, Jorge, Mili, to Sheraima, to all the staff behind that has helped us so much. And we will do this again. We will see you again, and we promise.
Thank you, Vicente. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sadi. Thank you, team, for FIU Continuing Education. We look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you for joining us. Be well and safe. Thank you.